Good morning and welcome to today's webcast with our partners Cisco, Code Zero, and Quantum. Today's webcast is all about ransom awareness. We are interested in trying to convey to you, the audience, strategies for protecting your digital assets. These ransomware attacks are becoming so prevalent and they are everywhere these days. And ransomware is something that is pretty much something that cannot be avoided at this point in time. So, we are trying to help our customers with making sure that you are all protected and up to date with a modernized data protection strategy. So with that said, Cisco, Code Zero, and Quantum are going to be presenting some excellent content today. And our first presenter is David Redaway with Code Zero. David, go ahead and take it away.
Hey, thanks, Brett. And thank everybody for joining us and viewing our presentation. Code Zero Technologies has been in business for just over 10 years here in Atlanta. We focus on providing cost-saving technologies that scale with unwavering performance in the enterprise. We can handle initiatives ranging from server, network, and storage virtualization to securing your IT environment and protecting your data. To deliver, Code Zero has partnered with Cisco and Quantum to provide data security solutions defending against ransomware attacks, and that's our focus today. Our first presenter is Jessica Lask from Cisco. Jessica, please take it away.
Thank you, David. Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Lask, and I am the cybersecurity specialist here at Cisco. I'm going to be helping Code Zero with our webinar and showing you all today how to strengthen your endpoint defenses and how it integrates with the other solutions, et cetera, to more protect your perimeter. So the reason why we're going to be doing AMP for endpoints today and umbrella is because an estimated 70% of breaches actually start on endpoint devices, and endpoint devices continue to be the primary point of entry for attacks. So this is a huge challenge. So again, 70% of breaches start on that endpoint devices, and this is why it's happening. So we have gaps in protection. So what we're noticing that you're challenged with is that gap in protection. So when your users and endpoints are on or off the network, you guys typically will have an antivirus, and it's often the only protection available that's in your network organization. So however, now that threats are becoming more sophisticated, different things like that, it's important for us to begin to take preventative measures so that when those first lines of protection, they don't fall up short in case of those advanced threats. So the second reason why why endpoints is such a major point is it's 48% of it is user error when it comes to attackers bypassing the endpoint defenses. And attackers obviously could send out a phishing email with maybe a malicious attachment or a link. And even despite the training of your user at your company, whatever that might be, countless warnings, it is inevitable that at one point they are going to click on something malicious. I've done it myself. I've actually had to go to a cybersecurity jail at Cisco because I've clicked on it so many times. But this is another reason why it's so important to protect our endpoints and continue on to make sure we have all aspects of the layer protected. And then lastly, we have gaps in visibility. So 55% of organizations are unable to determine the cause of breach. And this is because it takes about 100 days, industry's average time to detection, to actually see when the breach occurred, go back and try to remediate the issue. So organizations have been blind to malware attacks and really being able to scope everything that's being compromised. So this is why, in the face of all these challenges, Code Zero, Cisco, and Quantum have come together, is because we understand that you as our customers, you guys need deep visibility into what files and users are doing on that endpoint itself. And where that endpoint is trying to connect to on the internet, plus control and stop those malicious behaviors when you're seeing them. So this is how Cisco and Code Zero can help you, all of our customers. We have our Cisco AMP for Endpoint solutions, as well as our Cisco Umbrella solution. So AMP for Endpoints and Umbrella are a great are a great solution for you because they work in harmony to provide the visibility, context, and control needed to not only prevent, to actually detect and respond to these attacks that are targeting your endpoints before any damage can be done. So real quickly on AMP Endpoints. AMP Endpoints is a cloud-managed next-generation solution that we have here at Cisco. This not only prevents cyber attacks, but this also is going to rapidly be able to detect, contain, and remediate those malicious files if, for example, they do invade that first front line of defense and infiltrate your endpoints. We understand that Endpoints achieves this using a suite of different techniques. It does have a traditional antivirus inspection engine. It's got machine learning, static and dynamic analysis of files, which is sandboxing, and then vulnerability monitoring and continuous analysis of the file behavior. So that's one thing that's super important, is that continuous analysis. Is because even after we have all these sophisticated threats, say something does happen to go past an endpoint, we're still going to continually put analysis on that and make sure that nothing is slipping through the cracks. And then Umbrella is really in that prevent motion as well. And Umbrella is the cloud security platform that's providing the first line of defense against these threats hosted on the internet. So whether or not your users are on and off the corporate network, Umbrella is going to be the one that's delivering that complete visibility into the internet activity across your locations and endpoints. So if they're clicking on different sites or things like that, it's constantly monitoring that and making sure they're not going into anything malicious. So Umbrella is going to be the one that's going to help the organization, help your company stop those attacks earlier. It's going to be able to help you identify those infected devices faster and then actually prevent the data from exfiltration. And then we like to do this in 3 different approaches because, again, with ransomware, the attacks are becoming extremely sophisticated. We have a 3-step approach. That's prevent, defend, and then respond. So the first one is prevent. And give me just a second. So the first one, like I said, is prevent. So again, this is where Umbrella and AMP work in harmony together. So regardless of malware delivery, if there's an email attachment, maybe an email or a web drive-by such as malvertising, and for endpoints on the preventive aspect is coming in, it's blocking those known malicious files at that initial inspection, and then it's using Sandbox to analyze those unknown files. And then Umbrella is coming in from that preventive measure, blocking those malicious internets, domains, URLs, IP requests, all of that. And then we have detect. So again, moving more into that middle part of that attack continuum, as threats are sophisticating, we want to make sure that we also are detecting for our customers. And this is where Cisco comes in again. So AMP Endpoints now is preventing and detecting by continuously analyzing all of the file activity on the endpoints to quickly detect that malicious behavior. So they're going to be able to go in, detect the behavior, and make sure that they'll send out alerts, different things like that if we see anything that's fishy. And Umbrella here is going in to make sure that they're stopping the C2 callbacks to those attacker servers, and it's making sure that it's stopping data exfiltration, execution of that ransomware encryption if it's happening. And then lastly, where Cisco really comes in is the respond portion, which is one of the biggest challenges for you, I'm sure, as companies will know, is how does your security team respond in a timely manner, and how they actually connect with the other teams to make an educated, decision on what's happening in the environment. So right here with the respond, we want to provide your security teams with context needed to respond more quickly. So endpoints, again, that prevent and defend, it's also going to respond by showing you as the customer the full history and context of a compromise to inform your security teams on a educated decision making that. And then they're going to be able to stop the attacks via an outbreak. They're going to be able to control the capabilities, and they can quarantine files with AMP Endpoints. And then lastly, again, we have the Umbrella Investigate. This is, again, just an extra layer, but this is providing up to the minute threat data, and it's got historical context about domains, IPs, file hashes, all of that Talos is monitoring every day, which is our largest threat intelligence agency next to the government. And that's how we're continually to work with Code Zero, Quantum to better secure your perimeter with the security landscape. So that's what I have from the Cisco component. I'm going to pass it over to Jason from Quantum to go more into it from their side of the house. But if you guys do have any other questions, want to set up maybe an AMP or an Umbrella trial, please reach out to Code Zero. They will reach out to me and kind of get those started for you all. Thank you.
Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff, Jessica. Thank you for that. If we were to qualify or categorize the relationship between Quantum, Cisco, and Code Zero, you can consider the Cisco stuff more of like in-flight, in-transit part of the protection scheme, and Quantum would come in at the target side, so backup protection, whether it's disk, tape, or cloud storage. That's kind of where we fit in. So with that, I'll take off and give you guys some background on what we've got to show you for the ransomware protection. Quantum is not a new company, 40 years of protecting data. I won't bore you with the slides, but know that we're not all things to every customer, but we are very good at what we do and what we offer to our customers. Some of the things that we can help, we're going to talk about ransomware, DR protection. That's going to fall into the lines of backup and disk immutability, protection with air gap solutions of tape. But know that we can also help with other solutions as well with our file systems and cloud-enabled solutions that get your data where they need to be when it needs to be there. Again, these slides are not meant to tell you everything you need to know about Quantum. However, we would relish an opportunity to further this discussion, both Cisco and Quantum, to talk about your needs and your environment, and we can dive into the details of each of the solutions as we go along. Quick market, analysis, if you will. That $20 billion is the elephant in the room. That's what most analysts assume that we're going to get to in the 2021 timeframe. That's a huge number. Ransomware costs is just skyrocketing, 200% year over year. You can see the numbers there, 543% in the ransomware attacks. Overall attacks were up 41%. Big numbers, and we're only considering that growing. It may look like that number is leveling off from 19, 20, 21. However, $20 billion is not something that we can, shy away from. So that's why we're here today, and we're thankful for your time with us. When you look at the cost of what each ransomware event, it costs you guys, from an SMB perspective, that's a lot of money. So when you consider the cost of a $10,000 to $20,000 tape library, if you will, that's not a lot of insurance to pay versus a $400,000 incident with ransomware. So again, cost is key. What we're looking for in 2020 and beyond, look for those targeted attacks, right? So ransomware tools are getting smarter. They're starting, these crypto locking kind of people and activities are starting to bypass the behavior, and the activity of protecting your environment and keeping those criminals at bay is what this is all about. They're starting to target more enterprises. In the past, we've seen municipalities be a huge target, and that continues to be so. But know that they're looking for the money, and they're going for where the money is. So, and then of course the experts are calling for people to do the modernization of their infrastructure to help protect against things like this. That's where Cisco and Quantum come in to offer our solutions. There's a huge amount of risk if you do pay your ransomware. The Treasury Department on October 1st issued an advisory that you may or may not be aware of that basically calls out some risks, and they're issuing sanctions if you end up paying a ransom to an organization that they deem a terroristic threat to our country. So know that there are, risks beyond just paying that ransom and walking away. So that you can see the link there, and we'll make that available as well. The products that Quantum brings to the table regarding this ransomware discussion predominantly are active scale object storage. We have some, exciting announcements in our object storage to provide some ransomware protection there. The DXI deduplication appliance, which, point-in-time recovery of backup and that kind of stuff is, a huge part of your ransomware recovery protection. And then the tape, when you're talking about air gap and creating distance between your active content, your live content, and your backup copies, there's still no better way to do that rather than, other than tape. jumping into the active scale piece, one of the new things that we're able to talk about in our lineup is a smaller entry fee, or smaller entry level into our product set. So if you're, if you've been turned off by object storage in the past regarding where it starts at, whether it's 500 terabytes or a petabyte, know that we can start smaller today and get you into something that might make sense for you. The reason why this is important, and one of the new announcements on this, is that S3 object lock is now a thing. So object storage with S3 object lock creates that immutable storage that you can send your backups to, and then those can't be adjusted. They can't be changed. This slide, interesting. This slide shows 4 years for the retention period. Yeah, we're calling for 3 years of history over here. But regardless, the message holds up that when you send your data, your backup snapshot images to an object storage device and you lock that content, it's not changing. So you've got your recoverability point there, and know that it's there and ready to go. Not completely air gapped, however, as a really good stopgap between live disk and offline tape. DXI products, they're evolving every day. Back in 2019, we were working at the, things like best density, 10 rack units for a petabyte of storage in the 9000 product line, all the way down, through the 4800 series and then the V series as well. So those products are still evolving. Into the 2020, there's things like fast clone that speeds up, backup applications. The density of the products is really growing. The 9100 that was just announced is a 2 petabyte product. They're getting bigger, faster, and stronger. And the future of those things is, software defined. We're looking at hyper-converged hardware and things like that. Again, the intent is not to, give you everything you need to know about DXI, but pique your appetite and get you to ask more questions and bring us in to talk about more of these products. The tape solutions, that's really where, the ultimate air gap solution is, right? So, there are many opinions about tape, if you will. We have tons of customers that are coming, I don't want to say back to tape, but they're reintroducing tape into their environment because of the ransomware threats that are going on today. There is no greater protection when you are talking about something like ransomware protection for a tape solution that creates an air gap between you and your data. When you take that tape out of the library or protect it in what you'll find out in a few minutes in a protected vault, that's just like the immutable disk. It's not going to be susceptible to any crypto locking ransomware activity. So you have that point in time that you can go back to, and that's why it's important. Plus the cost is just cheap. Dollars per petabyte, dollars per terabyte numbers on tape. It doesn't get any better than what you're looking at on the screen. Active Vault is a huge part of our ransomware protection in our tape cases, in our tape scheme, if you will. The use case for Active Vault historically, because it's been around for quite a while and it is an industry exclusive, has been archive. So what we would do with that is buy our customers more storage by allowing them to archive tapes from active slots over into a protected vault and take away some of their capacity licensing and things like that inside the active vault. In regards to backup and recovery, it gives you that extra added layer of protection. What we're doing is creating a vault inside the library so that we're sending tapes that can't be modified because there is no host or drive assigned to that protected vault that can access those tapes. So essentially how that would work is an application would write back up 2 tapes, then the ejection would come from the application. So the application writes the backup. It would say, okay, eject this media from the library. We redirect that in the form of a policy, if you will, and put that into the active vault partition. That partition, as I mentioned, has no host access, no drive access, so no way to modify that content once it's in that active vault. Think of it like an Iron Mountain, if you will. So it's like we went in and got that tape, took it out, and put it into another protected library, slot, safe, whatever that might be. The tape actually resides inside the vault. So if you need to recover that, then an admin can log into the GUI of the library and manually move that tape back. Typically, most backup applications are going to have a report that allows you to say, hey, the retention period of tape XYZ has now been depleted. You may now safely reinsert that into the library. That's when you would go back and either script that move back into the backup application partition, or you would manually move those tapes. What that looks like, before and after, without Active Vault, the operator would export tapes. They would actually go get that tape from the library. They would move the tapes to the secured storage, and then they would return to their desk, right? With Active Vault, they back up the application. It's an automated process for them to export the tapes using the application, and the library does the rest. That policy redirect is redirecting those tapes from the active slots in the library over to the protected slots in the library, and that's it. From that perspective, a lot of our customers say, well, now I've got a lot of my eggs in that one basket. What are you guys doing to protect that basket? Multi-factor authentication is also another industry exclusive that we've got on our libraries. Using, the tried and true TOTP protocols with like the Google Authenticator and Microsoft uses, you download the application on your phone, you enable this on your library, and now you've got multi-factor token-based, if you will, authentication to that library. It increases that level of security to both the active slots and the protected vault, because we're only as smart as the crypto lockers that are out there now. When they get to the point where they can load up a tape and infect it, that's where this protected vault comes in. Any questions? Thank you. I'll turn it back over to you, Brett.
Sounds good. Thank you. Great presentation, guys. Really good content all around. We do have a couple of questions, actually. I think the first one's going to go to Jessica. Jessica, it looks like the question was, if someone already has a firewall or some other kind of security product installed, would it also be necessary to add Cisco Defense, or is it considered a replacement for a security product that they already own?
They already have advanced, like a firewall in place. That would be completely fine, but Umbrella would be an extra layer of protection on top of that. That's protecting the users from going to the actual domain sites and the IPSs. So that would just be an extra layer of protection versus a duplicate product or something like that.
All right, great. Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Jason, looks like we have a question about the quantum side of things related to the air gap. So other companies advertise air gap, but they might not be advertising it by using tape. Can you share either how this might be possible or why tape is necessary?
Absolutely. So if you want to define a true air gap, that would mean non-electrical impulses or magnetic disk access, if you will. If a disk is still on your network, then it's susceptible to crypto locking. If a tape is written to and thus removed from the drive and the library, or maybe even in a protected vault, that tape is inaccessible in any way, shape, form, or fashion, thus creating that air gap. So when our competition that may include all disk products talk about an air gap, it's not a true air gap. I mentioned immutable disk on our object storage. That's as close as you're going to be able to get to a true air gap with tape. So the cheap insurance that you're seeing from these low-cost tape options is a really good solution to put back in your environment for that oh no copy, if you will.
Excellent explanation. Thank you very much. We do have one final question, and I think this is going over towards David, actually. So this one is, who should a client contact if they need more information or need help with a quote or configuration?
Thanks, Brett. That's an easy one. give me a call. My email address is dredaway at code0tech, all spelled out, .com. It's probably the best way to reach me, and I can make the arrangements and get you set up with what you need.
Sounds good. One final set of questions. This might be for both Jessica and Jason. Do your technologies offer a demonstration or some form of sandboxing to test the product out?
From the Cisco perspective, from me, we do offer trials on pretty much all of our security products. But for AMP and Umbrella specifically from this call, we do 14-day trials, so I can help set those up.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Good stuff. Absolutely. We encourage proof of concept type activity on all of our product line, whether that's, our disk-based immutability to the backup with DXI and tape. Sometimes it may not be feasible depending on the scale, but we'll absolutely work with you and make sure that you're comfortable with our products and, make everything go smooth for you in Code Zero.
That's great. All right, guys. Well, that is all the questions we have for today. It looks like we have a great bit of content to share with everybody. Once again, we will be sharing this recording after the fact, so we will be able to reference back to it later for all those listening. And also, we will have the slides and any other materials available after the presentation as well. So just get in touch, and we will be in touch with you all as well. Thank you to all of our presenters, Jessica from Cisco, David from Code Zero, and Jason Bales from Quantum. I'm Brett Zumwalt, your host, and thank you once again. Have a great day.